passwords, your ability, not access to them, but make sure that you know somebody that knows where access to your passwords are and how you take care of bills and everything in the event that you're incapacitated. These are things that I'm learning right now in this moment because we are scrambling to find out a lot of stuff that need to be taken care of at the time to pay bills and do stuff is coming up, and we just have no idea how to do that with a person who has been very, very like isolated and to themselves. So navigating that, but doing well otherwise.
Yeah. So definitely love and support to you. Just thinking about 40. So 40 is like, this is the year of 40 for a lot of us. And a stroke or a heart attack or anything that's debilitating like that is really difficult and unexpected. You know, so I was telling you, a friend of mine experienced the same thing a few weeks ago, and out of nowhere, double stroke. Double stroke. So paying attention to your health is major, and then just how your life is affected, how your friends and families' lives are affected by you and your health. So thank you for sharing that. And then everybody else, think about that. Y'all think about that. If you know something about it, call in and share as well. Jay Hat, how was your week?
Jay had the week was great.
Mm-hmm.
Had a really good week. Had a big announcement this week. Had a person to share some love, man, in terms of some rehab services that are going to be coming to the area. So that's going to be big, maybe to help your friend. And just loving this this new movement we got going on.
Okay. Awesome. So big announcements are always good. You can check out social media to see what's going on there. We do want to be fair and not even dive into it here because that means that I would have to have all the rest of them on. So not doing that. So we're not going to even take it in that direction. Miss Marcia, how was your week? What that week do?
I had a pretty good week. I feel like I was really tired this week though.
I know. I feel like that now.
Yes.
I can't see you.
I was coming home after work and taking naps. That's unlike me. And then waking up around 8 and then eating and then going back to sleep. And then I slept a lot yesterday too. So I feel better today.
So maybe you needed it. Maybe you know, like our bodies tell us what we need. Yeah. I wish some days I think I want to take a nap, but then I get in there and start scrolling or something and I end up not doing it. So for you to be able to have taken some naps, that's a good thing, to actually be able to take that time. Miss Wendy, how are you? Swing that mic. How's your week been? Swing the mic, swing the mic, swing the mic. Whoa.
I told him to swing my dough.
How's your week been?
The week has been amazing. Made some connections this week with some amazing women at the Go Red for Women.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was. I'm always looking for opportunities to connect with other women, of course, and anything I can do to help advance things going on in the medical community. I'm very happy about that. So
awesome. Because you are what's your profession?
Well, I own a beauty and wellness spa in Vestavia, Lemuse Lux, but I'm also by profession an RN.
Yeah. So yeah. This is where you thrive. Great week for everybody. Sounds like everybody was in purpose this week, taking care of themselves, embracing change as it comes. Same for me. I can't even really recall what went down this week. I don't know. I can't remember. So that must mean it was pretty standard, pretty decent. So, need information on mental health. I'm dealing with it and need help. Thank you for bringing that up. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. That is something that is near and dear to us as it's a part of all of us. Every aspect of our life or of our lives is driven by our mental well-being, our illness, wellness, and everything connected to our brains and emotions. That's what we do here. Not only do we talk, but we are professionals in that sense. Eddie's an LPC, a licensed professional counselor. Licensed professional counselor. Jay Hat has some credentials as well when it comes to treating and working with mental health. Month of May, I've been all over the place. Eddie, I know you got some interviews and stuff coming up too, but I did do that. So Thursday, I shared with Birmingham City School System through In Touch Counseling with their wellness summit. So they had the social emotional department to come in and be celebrated and to be educated on mental health. And I talked about managing your emotions under pressure. You hear that trigger there? Under pressure. And that's sometimes difficult to do. Eddie, we can jump in there. Just kind of speaking on what you talked about, like the pressure is on. I have to be responsible for something I never imagined that I would be responsible for. And I still have to manage my emotions.
Yeah.
I got to handle business and manage my emotions and manage my day to day. And that's pressure. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
When you talk about balancing life out, I often think like if I weren't doing as many things as I do, I wouldn't be fulfilled. I would feel like I was not producing or performing up. I don't know. I wouldn't feel right if I didn't do as many things as I do. But then it's like, is that self-inflicted pressure or is that purpose?
I think it's societal and cultural inflicted pressure.
Oh,
I think were capitalism not to exist as it were, we wouldn't be having to grind to pay rent that's going up, pay for groceries that's going up,
true.
pay for everything going on in the decline in the society where they not focusing on putting money towards the infrastructure and then figuring out what we can do with a little leftover change. And the leftover change is never enough. And so it's like that capitalism grind is the way that our society has chosen to exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's the burden that puts the pressure on our individual selves that ends up being like a conditioned, self-inflicted
pressure
that we try to figure out how to find purpose in.
Okay, I take that because if I, sometimes you'll be sitting around like I know I should be doing something. I should be doing more. I should be doing this. I should be here. I should be there. And that is because we're responsible for so many things. And like you said, just the idea of you have to have somewhere to live. You have to be able to eat. You have to be able to afford to do those things. So that pressure is always on, but the added level of pressure, like, I think from the time my feet hit the floor, I am already having to be responsible for others and for, what's going to happen in this day. That's pressure in itself. I know I can't sleep past. I can't just be in the bed till noon. I can't do that. If I do that, the world might crumble.
See, in my head, it's like I already done missed $400 worth of clients.
Yeah, right.
By noon.
So your world might crumble.
Yeah. So like,
you think about that. That's pressure. It's pressurous, but it's purpose. But where's the balance? So like all of us are hustling and bustling, and we, people like to say that I'm grinding it out. People like that. They are really like empowered by the grind, and I'm just wondering, how do we define balance? Where do we find the sweet spot of this is not, I'm not under pressure, because pressure does lead, and this is what I was telling the teachers, pressure bust pipes. I said, give me some of the quotes and things that you all have heard about pressure. So half said pressure bust pipes, and then the other said, well, pressure makes diamonds. So it's about perspective. So it's about how you look at the pressure that you're under. It's about how you perform, how you balance it out. So how do you all balance everything out that's going on in your lives?
A conversation that I got to have with clients is about the idea that like most of the people that come to therapy are the working well.
Yeah.
It's people with like relationship issues, career issues, like things with a little bit of, if you tweak it a little bit, you're good. And I think a big part of negating pressure is recognizing that what you're going through is a part of your mental wellness. Regardless of what it is, it don't really matter how small that thing is. A lot of us convince ourselves that what we're going through ain't worth addressing because it's not as big as somebody else thing that they're going through. So the biggest part of balance for me has been identifying when something is creating discomfort. It can be, man, I have not been fulfilled by the meals that I've been eating this week. I've been choosing the wrong, things to consume. Or maybe these aren't the things that my body is yearning for as far as nutrient go. Let me do an investigation on myself to see where I'm at in this moment. I think we don't look at those small things because they just seem like regular everyday stuff, but like
those are the things.
Yeah.
So switching up what you eat, self-assessing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of people deal with so much pressure because they don't anticipate their own needs. They anticipate the needs of others, but when you finally take the time to anticipate your own needs, it's almost as if you're working under pressure to fulfill yourself when you've already fulfilled the things around you, but you haven't really thought about what you need and the things that you need to accomplish and the things that you need to do. So it's like you're always being rushed to do things. So I feel like just self-assessing, like you said, and just anticipating the needs that you have.
Why do we? So like when you
Proper
say other people,
preparation.
yeah, but other people. So like who are? Why would I? How do I end up putting other people's needs before mine? How do we do
That's
that
just human.
anyway? Okay, so we just do that just because it's what people do,
Yeah,
unless
just
we're
people.
selfish.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Just unless we're
yeah, because I'm just trying to see how does
Yeah.
that happen? How is it that I put all of you and what you need before I take care of myself? How
going
does
to work is one of them. Sorry.
going to work?
Going to you working and you not really thinking about what you need mentally. You just in the hustle and bustle of things. You're doing everyday things. So you're not really thinking about yourself. You're not thinking about self first. You're thinking about, oh, I gotta pay this bill. I gotta go to work. I gotta go pick the kids up. I gotta do this. But you're not really thinking about yourself. So you anticipating everything around you.
Yeah.
But what do you need personally?
How do you identify when you need? And when we're talking about like mental needs,
Mental wellness.
right? So I'm riding around. You said I'm riding around. I'm going to pick the kids up. If I have children, I got to figure out what we're going to eat. I got to do this paper. I got to turn this report in. I need to cut the grass. I got to go pick up my whatever it is that you have to do. You're thinking about the things that you have to do or the things that you're responsible for. But how are you alerted that I am
need to sit
crumbling or I am
Right.
spent spiral? I don't how do you all know when that's happening to you?
That's the biggest question.
How do you know? Like, do you know too late? Like, oh damn, I
Most people
messed
do
up.
know too late. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm so glad we are in this space. It is Mental Health Month.
Mm-hmm.
And I encourage anyone to jump on the Mounts page. We are handling and tackling this through a book study called The Let Them Theory, written by Mel Robbins. And it is blessing the church. It is blessing us tremendously because the reality is because we are wired this way to be nurturers, it's hard to even allow people to nurture you. But I've always subscribed to this. This has been since my own battle with this in 2017. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
You can't drive on the empty tank.
Nope.
And so it's important to slow down, pause, and look at what's going on with your body because the mind and the body are so connected. It's also important to understand your stressors, right? And so those people and things and situations and circumstances that cause you to be in that space where you're aggravated, agitated, and sometimes frustrated. And then pause, Selah, take you a break.
Yeah.
Take a mental health day. If you work, they give you a day off. It's called benefits for a reason. Use them. And I know a lot of us save them for hard times, but it's hard times right now. We have a lot going on. The economy is unstable. Families are unstable. Children are unstable. Crime is unstable. And it's a lot of instability. And when those things are happening, you're in survival mode. And it's understand this. You got to press the pause button and take time to put your mask on, as they tell you on the plane. Put your mask on before you try to help put someone else's mask on.
Thank you for that. So the let them theory. And I'm gonna take the approach on the opposite side of that because if everybody I have always lived by that. Hey, do what you're gonna do. Let them do that over there. Okay, I'm gonna let you think what you think. Like that's always been it. But then everybody, what if everybody gets that attitude? Everybody let them. Everybody got to let them attitude. Okay, you think so?
And that's the interesting part because a lot of people think when I say the title of the book that that's actually what the book's theory is about, but that's not where the power lies. The power is in the second half of the book, which is the let me.
Okay.
And so
let me go on over here.
Let me is where your power lies. And so understand that you can't control everything. And a lot of our stress is trying to be in control. Understand that people are going to think about you what they think. And understand this, that you can think a way about someone that doesn't fit what they think. And guess what? I can still love you.
Yeah, Wendy, I'm thinking about a TI line. Let them think what they think.
Yeah, let them think what they think, because you can't change it, and it's all about controlling what you can control. And
Yeah.
I'll say this: you say, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Priorities.
Okay. So what's important goes first. What's important goes first. And then understanding that even in that, I still can't control. What can we control? So like being okay with these moments. I can't control the full day. I may be able to control the next 5 minutes, maybe, but understanding that we are only in control of ourselves, and that's only to a degree. It's really only to a degree. I can make decisions. I can make, I could do what's right. But as far as controlling things, I know a friend had no idea that a stroke was coming. If I could control that, we wouldn't be. I would never be sick. Things would never. I would never be broke. I would never be hungry. I would never be cold. I would never be too hot. Things would be great. Life would be perfect if I were in control. Right? Like if we could create our own reality and make it perfect. Who wouldn't do that? I'm gonna cause some confusion and chaos in my own life. Who would say that?
It's not about
Jay had said, but we do. What you got, Wendy?
right. I don't think it's about being able to control. Everybody's life is not geared towards the great.
Okay.
Their great might not be your great. The things that you desire might not be the things that they desire. So if they could control up to their mental capacity, where their brain or their mind takes them, or what they want for themselves. And it might not be what you want for yourself. They're, like I said, their great is not your great, but it won't look good for everybody if they were in total control. Because I don't think everybody's capable of making sound decisions.
We know they're not.
Yeah. So and that's why I think the theory "let them" it stands, because their "let them" is not your "let them," and what you care about, they're not going to care about.
Okay.
So your reality is going to look way better than most people, because you're able to make better decisions. You grew up in a better environment. You chose to be around better people, because as we know, your network is your net worth. So who you choose to put yourself around, what you're choosing to listen to, what you're choosing to see with your eyes and use your hands for, that's what makes you who you are.
Oh, sure. Thank you. Let them. So let me get around some people that are able to have conversations about meaningful conversations about health and wellness and real life. Like, you know what? I've been stressed. I've been depressed. Look, I'm going through. I'm considering this. We should be able to have those conversations, but you do have to be in the right spaces for those types of conversations. 994-8949 is the number. I want you all to get in on this conversation. And if you want to talk about something in particular, you don't have to identify yourself at all. You can be anonymous. You can just get straight to it. But this is an opportunity for you to jump in and maybe hear some things that will help you. Caller, you are in with the show. What's up?
Thank you, ma'am, for accepting my call.
Indeed.
As I listen to you all, you talk about mental health. Something that I've been concerned about all my life. I heard the brother mention the book. I'm old school, and I'm sure you all, you go to college in a lot of the social sciences. You take psychology 101. And I'm sure you all are familiar with what is called Maslow's hierarchy.
Of needs.
Yeah. And he deals not only with the individual. It's basically universal. Everybody has to have safety, security, basic food, shelter, clothing.
Right.
But then there is he talks about let's say camaraderie, friendship, acceptance. I would say universal acceptance. But we live in a world like Americans don't like Russians, their culture. The French got veils, the Germans got veils. But we're Afro Americans. The closest thing that I heard, the closest thing that someone, it was during the DNC.
Okay.
Michelle Obama. Did any of y'all hear Michelle Obama's speech?
I did. I don't remember that. What'd she say?
You did. She talked about the cleavages within Black people culture. Culture is everything. What makes you happy? Is it crass materialism? Is it greed that fuels our culture and economy? What makes black people happy? They know that there are culture differences among us, and we know too.
That's a good question. What makes black people happy? Like, individually, I think we can say what makes us happy individually, but as a people, what makes us happy? And I wonder seriously because of how we interact and how we present. Are we as a people really capable of being happy?
Well, I mean, my vantage point is it goes into what Wendy was saying. Well, your happy is not my happy.
Okay.
Like I think the conditioning that we have as a society is that we all look at ourselves through the lens of the same scope, kind of like that same because through through cultural trauma, we've been bundled into the same group for so long. We see ourselves that way. Think of it like when a serial killer announcement is made, black people in unison be like, I hope they ain't black because we've tethered ourselves to the behaviors of all black people because of that, you know. And so the idea of black people being happy as a whole, it's an individual thing. And I
Yeah,
think
for
one
sure.
thing he said is about the world, and I like it's a lot of conversation going about the world. About what about your world? What something going on in California that don't impact you now? How do you get your world in order so that you can transition out to understanding the world? But a lot of people try to understand themselves through the world and let that shape their world. Like, what is your world today? Like, what the things that you care about, the people that's in your life, the things that, like, it's a man somewhere watching Pop the Balloon making decisions about his life based on something he's seen on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how are you making decisions with the information that you have and the best, understandings of love you have today? And if you don't have the understanding of that you want today, how do you get that? So I think that there is a conversation about what the happiness black people have access to, but how do you access happiness for yourself today? Because you ain't gonna be functional in that conversation with me because I done found out some of that stuff. So you ain't gonna be functional in a conversation with me if you ain't got some of them answers.
Okay, what makes you happy in your individual world as opposed to what makes the world happy? Children, puppies, chocolate. None of that makes me happy. Sorry.
I feel like once people get off their phones and into themselves, that's when they'll find the answer. But being on the internet, I think a lot of people are basing their personality off of that, not understanding that, like, it's almost turning them into a robot. I feel like, especially with Chat GPT, people aren't even thinking for themselves anymore. So it's like, it's low-key getting scary. Like, where is the originality or like just the greatness in us being human beings?
I don't have it, okay? You're asking a lot of me to be somebody special.
Well,
I don't even go outside.
I hate outside.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like what she's saying about the phones. These kids are so different from when we grew up. We have personalities. We know how to interact. We're very social. We can hold conversations. They are the robots.
Yeah.
So it's very evident the transition between how we grew up and what we had and considered as fun, which is let me hurry up
so
and get
many
home for the
different
street light get
things.
home.
Yeah, we had fun.
We had fun. I mean, like passing out flyers
It was fun.
Actually being with your friends, playing laser tag, going to the movies. That was fun. For them, fun is let me share these reels with you. I don't want to see that.
I mean, so I push back on some of these sentiments because I do believe that a person that is susceptible to being influenced by a device will also just be influenced by people around them without a device.
No, not it's not really what I'm saying. It's not really about the influence of the device. It's the device.
It's the distraction.
It's the distraction that you're not. What she was saying is very relevant. You're not taking the time out to get to know you. You're not having personal time with you to find out what you like and what you don't like. You're watching reels and you're identifying with reels. You're sending them to each other and everybody's forming an opinion about something that they're probably not even going through. So why are you identifying with that at all? Someone told me that he's an active father. He has a son, they do things together and he would hang out with other kids that didn't have active fathers and his child will come home like he didn't have a dad. So it's just what you're being influenced by. It's exposure. So you're being influenced by things that you can't even identify with because you have too much exposure to things online. Everything is so easily accessible online and you can find so much information online that's not even in front of you or relevant to what you're going through. So why should you even form an opinion about something that's not relevant for you or in your life or in your day-to-day? You need to be researching things that are relevant for you to self-develop.
Okay. So all of that.
Mhm.
But then I think about how if you're not on social media or you're not paying attention to what's on social
you a
media, you are
lame.
out the loop,
Yeah,
right?
you a
You
lame.
don't know what's going on. You have no sense of nothing because everything is there.
Every person that I know that is not online that doesn't have Facebook, and I know several people that don't have Facebook, Instagram. You know what their bank accounts look like? You know what their relationships with their children look like?
Mhm.
It's so different. And people can say it's a stigma, or you can say that, because y'all just don't want people online. But no, I've seen it. It's factual. People actually that are not consumed by their phones, these people still know how to use their hands.
So are you saying that social media has impacted our mental health to the point where social media has made mental health problematic?
Oh yes,
This is
course.
where the issues come in.
Of course. You become isolated.
Oh.
It's definitely done some stuff. I don't the way that I'm processing these assessments that y'all are making is one of them is our fun is different than their fun, right? And I think some of it is the inability to accept what fun is, because I would have never been okay with a paddle ball that my uncle's then was using in tiddlywinks to define what my enjoyment was going to be. But to them, when I was growing up,
that was fun.
Being outside, doing the stuff I was doing outside, it was different than the stuff they was doing outside because the times are changing. And it's like each generation's inability to accept what new fun is just different. And again, there are differences in what new fun is for kids. So yeah, new fun being Roblox is doing something to their brains. Don't get me wrong. I ain't minimizing that. But another part of that is I meet so many kids with so much personality that I'm working with, that I am in the schools with. And the thing that is keeping kids from having what we would like to see as personality is trauma. Is their families not giving them freedom to have their voice. Is old school parents saying stay in a child's place, and a child who can't even correct a parent, even if it's correct, because that's just not your place to do. But what I'm saying is
we didn't really have to.
But what I'm saying, like
said what I said.
But if a parent is actually wrong and the information is true that you're giving to invalidate the person that's giving it, I'm just saying that takes that person's hope to be able to say things to adults or people away. And so now we got kids who don't speak to adults, who don't say nothing in public, who get to McDonald's and can't order their own food. And we looking at them and we saying it's because of this internet, but we don't know that it's a mama or a granddad in the house that's saying you can't have that voice.
Okay, so that's one side of it. I want to go to the other side of it where I am at work at McDonald's in the window and somebody pulls up to the window. Let's act this out, please. Who do I want Wendy to do this? I definitely want Wendy to do this. I want you to pull up and I want you to order. Okay, so I'll start.
Am I the person that knows how, or I don't know how?
You know how. I'm at work and I don't know how. Okay, so let's do this. Will you be using your mobile app?
No, ma'am. Not today.
Okay, go ahead with your order.
Okay. Can I get a number 5 with a Sprite, please?
You said number 5 with a Sprite. You need any sauce with it?
No, thank you.
Drive around.
Ooh. Can I get a total?
I know.
They don't come back.
Okay, so headset off. You're at the window now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you speak to me because you probably was.
Hey, how you doing? How much was it?
You did it at the last window. That's the first window. So now you just getting your food from me.
Okay.
The person at the first window may have spoken. They may have said.
They never speak.
Oh, okay, $5.50. $5.50.
Okay, thank you.
So then I close my window.
Uh-huh.
You said thank you. What did I say?
Nothing.
Okay, so you drive up to the second window to get your food. Okay, so I open my window real loud. Let's see how I can. Open the window. I got your food here.
I got my food.
Okay, I give you a drink. Got drink all around the cup. I hand you that.
Wiped out. Can I get some napkins?
And then I close the window already. Is that not the experience? Like,
no, that's
what
really how
just
it
happened?
goes.
Every restaurant,
what just happened?
Fast food restaurant, except for Chick-fil-A.
What part?
Oh,
they on the phone
too? At the window.
At the window. What you said? Number 5.
Then I come in. Okay, let's go in. Let's go in the restaurant. Because this is still when I ask people, what do you think mental health is? They be like, crazy. And I'm like, no, everything about us is a reflection of our mental health. You come in the restaurant because your fries cold. Come on in the restaurant.
I'm in there.
Okay. Hey, what you need?
I just wanted to. I wanted my fries hot. I asked
Y'all ain't dropping no hot fries.
Oh,
Let me get them, man. Well, you keep them. You keep them.
Okay.
Yeah, go to the bed.
And don't burn them this time.
I may say all that. Here you go, man. Have a good day. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. Oh wow.
The aggression.
It is very
the inability to communicate, the inability to relax, calm down, process what is going on, engage. I even feel some. I have felt before where the person on the other side may have some type of maybe that, but even the you may be intimidated somewhat by me speaking correct and using proper English to ask for. May I please have Dr.
Wow.
No, I just want the bubbly Dr. Pepper. This one is flat. Thanks a lot. Oh, y'all, come on here. This is mental health stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
What you got your head?
So I teach.
Yeah. God bless you.
I teach them.
Oh,
And I teach them daily.
okay.
I notice some of these things probably the second half of COVID. So the first half we were kind of just winging it. We were virtual. Then we went to hybrid. And so I advocated for the psychology class to come back.
Okay.
And one of the very first things that I observed, and this is with their help, I just simply asked them, how was that experience being at home? Right? Almost about 65% of the students that I taught basically said that they either A, found out that them and their parents were not as close as they thought, or B, that they really didn't know how to communicate. Right? And I say that because without proper communication, you really just don't understand them. So you have to learn their language. We don't speak their language no more, at least some of us. So when I say that whole chapter about belonging and communication, we went all the way down to the basic narrative. Like we role playing. Like
yeah, you have to.
I walk in late on purpose. None of y'all said good morning.
Yeah, because.
But I said, I'm glad y'all didn't, because I was supposed to say good morning. So I start modeling, right? So everybody know me, I'm late. I'm coming in and I'm like, good morning. Good morning. And so over time, they caught on. So as they come in, it's the expectation that we at least speak. These are the basics that we learned that they don't really have.
And this, you're talking about high school students.
I'm talking about seniors, juniors, and sophomores.
Okay.
And so what I said for the next year, which would have been the full year, was that's how we start in the year. And so very first week, we going straight into the communication piece. We're going to go greetings, compliments, and just conversational starters. And so what I learned from them by year 2, which would have been that first senior class that took the psych class, they were very different from the freshmen.
Okay.
Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just kept the trend going. And so to now, to even, some of my classmates and even my good niece, that class now, at least that's not their issue, right?
Okay.
And so how do we expect them to thrive when they can't communicate, right? And they it's not that they can't communicate. They're just lacking the interaction to others. They communicate with themselves in their bubble. It's the others, like the teachers and the principals, and they struggle with that part of the conversation and communication skills. So
we're talking about them,
and we're talking about them, the students.
But we also need to be talking about the adults, because if you're struggling,
it's a lot of them
right?
too.
If you're struggling, if your children are struggling, that means that you're probably struggling, and that goes back to where I think Eddie and I focus with that family system, where you come from, what you see at home, how you see your people interact with other people. And I taught college students right after the pandemic. Like we were still wearing masks when I was teaching motivation and emotion, and intro to psych, and the things that I was seeing, and just the interactions and the presentation, and then some of the assignments where I would make them dig, and the emotion the level of emotion and not knowing how to emote. I don't really know how to emote, but then when I am allowed to, or when I'm pulled into that, I don't know how to properly emote. And I see that a lot with our peers, with older adults. You don't know how to properly emote. You are very angry about a situation that this level of anger that you're displaying should not be like this. So what's under that anger?
I think a lot of people have anger and they don't know how to emote because the understanding isn't there of themselves. They don't even understand
what is
they're
this that I
feeling.
feel. Absolutely.
So they have trouble communicating how they feel to other people because they haven't really taken the time to figure out, why am I feeling this way, or what is this feeling?
Because I'm not actually, I ain't mad. I'm really hurt. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Hangry.
Yeah.
It's a
I
thing.
am. I feel rejected.
Right.
I feel neglected.
But
I
the
feel
only emotion we know how to resonate in
I'm
or
angry.
reside is anger.
I'm angry. Eddie, jump in. I see
that,
you.
that is a result of being raised by boomer parents.
Okay.
That is
What's
a
the
result
age of them? The boomers.
54. Is it 54?
That's the year.
Yeah.
I'm almost pretty sure.
I think
I
54,
was
yeah.
raised
So they
by
about
those
70
parents,
something?
and I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong. There's always isolated families within these environments. You know, like again, there's some family in my community that was raised by Malcolm X type of upbringing, and I was raised by like white
Martin
people gonna be
Luther.
nice. They gonna do what they gonna do. Be nice to them. So
Mhm.
it's a scale of how we exist. But boomers in that generation where it was a vast abundance of them because you know the baby boom came
That's
out
what
and
it
they all
was.
here.
Mhm.
That struggle, that financial trauma that they have, the lack of tending to and focusing on emotions, that old traditional relationship, but also the same relationships where they talked about keeping pregnant in the summer and barefoot in the winter. Those
What?
mentalities, those sentiments, we was raised by them folks. And if your folks were them folks, then they was around a bunch of them folks. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm running from them folk. Cause
but
what?
another thing that I've learned, and it go back to what J Hat was saying, because if in 2 years you can see change from kids, then the 14 years that somebody had them at that house, they could have been doing this stuff. And so what I learned in the mentoring program that I have, where I work with kids in the intermediate school, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, middle school, and then the high school, is that I was supposed to see them 15 minutes every other week.
15 minutes.
15 minutes every other week.
Okay.
And the metric to use was to determine if it was helping was how many office referrals declined. Every single kid that I work with for 30 minutes a month, every single office referral declined. Because they are in such a deficit of being communicated with and engaged with on the idea that you are a person that deserves to have an equitable conversation with a grown person. They don't got that. And you took 30 minutes of talking a month,
15
improves
minutes
outcomes. That was crazy to me to find out. And for 3 years that we did that, it was the same, because I was like, okay, this must be something going wrong in this situation.
Want somebody to talk to me. I want to be heard. I want to share.
It's crazy to figure that out. So how much of a deficit are all of our kids in to actually have somebody to say, hey, I want you to learn to say good morning to people, and then actually be like, oh, he talking to me. He focusing on me. This message is for me. They don't get that.
So what I think happened is, what happened to the village?
They got scared.
The village. So it takes more than just what's going on inside of your household to raise your child. It's other outside influences that has to be present in order for your child to be well-rounded. And then anything that you don't use in the household, whether it be communication skills, it becomes stagnant. You lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. So if you're not communicating with your child's not gonna know how to communicate once they step outside of the household. And that's where most of the influence comes from, inside the household. If you're not physical, if you're not up, if you're not moving around, your body deteriorates, your mind will deteriorate. So that's what happens when you don't use these skills and use these things.
So thank you, Katina. She says that those 1940 to 60s parents, there is a difference. There's absolutely a difference.
Yes, it is.
But we're talking about children,
Right.
and I know that they are probably not listening. There may be a few. So I want to talk to who's listening, which would be those 40, 50, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s babies. Those of us who are in the thick of it. like I explain to my daughter often, baby, you are not in the thick of it. You're in your thick of it right now in this moment, but you're not in the thick of it yet. So for those who are like, they have their struggles for sure, but for those who are actually listening to the show, your struggles, the things that bog your mind, that boggle you, and this ticks me off. This really makes me sad. Right. And so I slam my computer on the floor. Right. I teach an anger management class, and I asked the guys about that, like who was the most aggressive, and we went through the history of how we were, how we are modeled. Men and women was different. Male and female was different, and testosterone and estrogen are the main differences. But the guys were saying like, yeah, I can't tell you how many game controllers I've torn up. And I'm like, this is something that you use to play the game that you like. And you just be tearing them up like that when you lose a fake game. This isn't even real.
Yeah. Rage quitting is a culture.
Yeah.
Rage quitting is its own culture.
Like, God, I'm gonna throw it.
Yeah, it's like there's content creators that make money off of their level of rage quitting.
I can act a fool, but
the internet, the phone.
So Marshall, you're the youngest one in the room, and you still say it's the phone.
It is, because I feel like I grew up. My first phone was like a Razor. So it was a pink Razor. So I like literally saw like Snapchat. Well, I saw Facebook come out, but like I didn't have it at the time because I think I was like in the 3rd grade. Mm-hmm. And then I was aware of MySpace, but my first social media was like Snapchat. And then I remember Instagram came out. So like I had a life a little bit before social media came out. Like I was still going outside. Like I feel like some of the things I low-key experienced or like y'all experienced, I experienced to a little bit of a degree. So I see the difference. Although I'm still Gen Z, my brother's 18. Mm-hmm. So like he's part of the children that we're talking about right now. But like I see a complete difference in how we grew up and like the things that we consume.
It's kind of sad, ain't it? Like when that like that kind of that's kind of mental health.
You said you went outside, right? Mm-hmm. All of us went outside. There's social skills outside.
Yeah.
The merry-go-round is outside. You're sharing and caring and talking and we even learn conflict resolution outside. So you lost that game and you couldn't just pout and fight everybody because you lost the game. Go sit on the sideline, wait your turn. We'll pick you back up. Somebody gonna pick you up on the next round. And so we fight. Guess what? We're done with that fight. You go sit on that side and bro, about 10 minutes, 30 minutes, you back on the team. So a lot of the things were outside. You learn responsibility outside. You learn how to be disciplined outside. Mama said, come back home, lights on. You better do it or there's going to be consequences. And a part of that is why we are different. But in a real sense, they are so different for us to try to force our norms in their direction. It's almost crazy because I remember when I was in high school. And I think sometimes once we get older and more mature, we forget when we was in high school. So I think it's a pendulum that swing both ways. But I do want to piggyback on Eddie talking about that 30-minute conversation. Bro, that is the big $1 million elephant in the room. How do you impact? How do you make an influence when they got to go back home to that environment for another 8 hours, another 6 hours? So if somebody can solve that magic $1 million question,
well, you found out how to do it in 2 years where them kids changed and began to pick up what you was putting down. You know what I'm saying?
But I see them more. I see them more than their parents.
So you think about the people that work with you, bringing it back to adults. I don't know why y'all keep trying to go back to a time when things were good when you were children. We're not there anymore. Life is real now. And it's equally real for our listeners. So the same for when we go into our workplaces.
Okay.
And I got to deal with your attitude, your inability, and your attitude, your inability, your arrogance, your trauma response. You don't like women because your mama did whatever she did. You don't like men because your daddy wasn't there. You got relationship issues, so you come to school snapping on all of us. And then here I am over here. I am so mental health still. I'm going through perimenopause and crying every time I'm triggered. And my bills due. And I don't know if I'm able to get retirement. Mama. Now let's talk to those people. Let's talk to the people that are really, depressed when they ride around in the neighborhood. Like if I'm coming from Roebuck to Anslet, I might cry 3 times. That might mess with my mental health. I'm seeing mental illness. I'm seeing people talking to themselves. I'm seeing homelessness. I'm seeing dilapidated buildings. So my environment has kind of dictated my mindset, and now I'm depressed.
Well, this goes into like the part of the conversation to me because again, the core reason I got pushed back to all this because I was the inside video game kid who just played games. I was very internet forward.
Get out.
As soon as the internet came out, I was there. And so I'm aware of what's going on now, right? I was also a kid that never spoke until I turned like 25. And it wasn't because I didn't want to speak. It was because I believed that there was a such thing as the right thing to say. And I didn't really have a family that kind of like helped me understand what the right is, what the wrong is. And so I sat with my thoughts so long that by the time speaking was to be, the time has passed. And at 26, I committed to the idea that there is no such thing as the right thing to say, just what you say and your willingness to stand beside it. And the only way you can do that is have confidence that these kids don't have because it's not being nurtured.
So let me ask you, when you say the right thing, like I'm not saying something until I had the right thing to say. What was it that you wanted to say? Like, what is it that you were carrying around but I can't say it though.
Well, before I gained confidence, I wanted to say what would bring me value to other people. That was my thing. Okay. I want the right thing was just what made people accept me more.
Okay.
And I didn't learn, I don't know, I didn't learn how to be confident with myself until I worked at McDonald's. I know that's different, but like.
So you weren't like the people that we just role played.
No.
You really took advantage of, hey, welcome to McDonald's.
Listen,
I'm Eddie.
I had them coworkers. I had them coworkers back then. Like this ain't new to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I had the coworkers who just didn't, because to me the issue ain't generational. The issue is you didn't get this in your environment. And that is rampant in the Black community because we don't have the wealth to not have a mama that's raising single kids working all the time. And we don't have daddies who have access to the emotional intelligence to give that to their kids. And so you don't have you can't use something that you don't have. And that has existed since my mama then was little. It's a whole bunch of stuff that we as a Black community haven't had. And so when you don't got it, you just don't got it.
So poverty and mental health. So a lot of the things that we're missing are results of not having because we are in these positions of poverty.
Yes. Today, I would add capitalism because at McDonald's, when you apply, they also pass you out a welfare packet because they know that at the current rate that they pay, you can't afford to live on that. So they pass out social support programs to people that they finna give minimum wage to because of that. And so not only that, but like this person knowing that they working 40 hours a week, also, unlike when I was growing up, can't do nothing with that money versus the people when I was growing up could do something with that money. Society was cheaper. Society was cheaper in 2015.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go back to 1998. I was watching Forrest Gump and they ride by at some point in Forrest Gump, they ride by a gas station that say 98 cents.
I remember that.
Oh, it was 97 cents when I graduated.
What?
In 96.
Yes, I remember. Those are facts. I remember 98 cents a gallon when I started driving. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let's put a pin in that because I want to go back to that pressure again. We're going to the phone lines first, though. Caller, you're in with the show. What are your thoughts, feelings, questions? Free therapy. Get it.
Peace and blessings. Is this Sister Lady Wu?
This is Sister Lady Wu.
Okay. Is that Richard? I hear on that Richard. Is that Richard? That's not Richard. That's the brother. Okay. Well, anyway, this is Kamal Africa. I just learned about the show today. A friend of mine was talking a little while ago. But we got some serious problems in our community because we have been socially engineered. And everything has been turned around. There's too much time spent on, with our children rather, spent with computers in their hand. In fact, in an adjacent community in Chelsea, that school system I got a friend that has a child out there, they only allow the children to use computers. They do have a computer lab, but they're only allowed to do that on Fridays.
Okay.
Because our children are lacking, as you say, social skills as well as cursive writing skills. Can you believe they're taking that away? What are they going to do when the computers let's just say we get a solar flare and everything goes out? We're in trouble. And then all of the social norms have changed in terms of quality time spent with family, at home, reading, all those things have changed. Obesity is a direct consequences of nothing but work, exhaustion, no time to go out and work, and then, of course, limited incomes. And so our gyms are empty, and we don't really have any in this city. And other folks are getting healthy in the surrounding areas. They got, I mean, it's. I just want to add that, and I'll hang up and listen to whatever your comment is.
Thank you so much, Brother Africa. I don't know how he didn't know
Yeah, my
about this
name.
show, and it's 17 years old. I'm gonna
He
get you
told
about
he
that.
told my name is. I'm not Richard Franken, brother.
Oh,
I'm
that's what he
Jonathan Haddon.
thought. Okay.
I got you though.
Mhm.
Wrong district.
Yeah, he said a few things though. So one of the things that just stuck out when we're talking about mental health. Mental health being everything. It is literally everything about you. It's how you sit. It's how you speak. It's what you wear. It's how you feel about things. It's all of that. It's how you treat people. It's how you treat yourself. It's everything. How you treat animals. It's everything. How you color your hair when you cut your hair. All of that. So body image, fitness, health, wealth, and still poverty, capitalism. So going back to the pressure, Eddie. I was writing something just like, I don't know if it's an acceptance speech. I don't know what I was writing, but it was about a day in my life. And I said, nobody could fathom a day in my life. And I almost, I don't even cry, but I was like, people do not get that. So entrepreneurs, you think about waking up and you have to pay taxes. You have to get credentialed. Okay. You have to renew those credentials. That costs. You have to get continuing education units. That costs. You have to pay for insurance. That costs. You have to have somewhere to do your business. Typically, that costs. Then that comes with bills on top of where you are. That costs. You have to either pay licenses for city, state, maybe something else. You have to have materials. You have to have different things to do your job. Those are all expenses, right?
Advertising.
Yes.
Paying employees.
Yes. Okay, so you have those things.
All of it.
Now pause. You have those things, but then you have to live somewhere. So you have to live where you live. You have to pay the utilities where you live. You have to eat. You have to have a bed to sleep in. You have to have clothes to wear. You have to look away. You have to groom. You have to pay for your health insurance. You have to pay car insurance. If you have car notes, you have to pay car notes. You have to pay for gas. You have to pay for tax. And I just think about, I am responsible for all of that by myself.
Those are the costs for your freedom.
Those are the costs for your freedom. Pause.
So you're paying.
It's still pressure.
It's
so
pressure.
It may be that. So it's about perspective. However, the reality of this is that this is what is making people lose it.
It is. It's gonna make, if you aren't built to withstand what you're going after, it might break you.
Mhm.
But all of these expenses, all of these taxes is what it's gonna cost you to be free. Because what happens is when you invest in yourself and you form a craft or you build something off your talent,
Mhm.
right? You're not going to anybody else and saying, hey, I'm going to rely on you and your resources for income. I can build my own income, and you can't put a cap on it. You
Okay.
can't tell me what I can make or what I can't make. You can't tell me what field to go in. You can't tell me what to do. You might make me pay for this license. I might have to pay for where I am, but the money that I'm making, it's my money. And there are loopholes around certain things when you're an entrepreneur. If they track it, you have to report it. But there are things that they can't track. And I hate to say this, but there are certain things that can't be tracked, whether somebody gives it to you in your hand. So there are benefits to being an entrepreneur.
Okay.
But like I said, you have to be mentally capable of being able to stand what come with it. You got to stand 10 toes down.
And even in standing,
gotta pay the cost to be the boss. Period. It is the liberty of not being on someone else's time and clock and agenda. You get to make your own. You get to roll out of bed when you want to. But most entrepreneurs will tell you they grind way harder than someone that's on a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because if you don't work, you ain't gonna eat. And you understand that, it's an opportunity cost. Going back to economics, it's an opportunity cost. You're making a sacrifice so you can have the freedom to live your life the way you want to live it, to be able to take off, to be able to be walking down Highway 31 in at 10 o'clock when everybody else got the sweat equity of a 9 to 5, and you're pushing the stroller, making plans, having meetings on the cell phone. It's a beautiful thing when you're into the business sector. It's a beautiful thing, but it also comes with a grind, and everybody ain't built for the grind. And then going back to that, connecting that to the social media, some people, especially during COVID, we all saw this. A lot of businesses were started during COVID with them chicks, pop-up shops and everything. I'm gonna throw my name in the hat. Yeah, we did that, and it's a grind. So it look easy, but comparing yourself to somebody else, thinking that you can do it and you ain't built for that, it'll break you.
Yeah.
So not just the fact that it'll break you, but just thinking about the times where you have been broken. So y'all making it sound real good. Like this is great. All of this is really great. But it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and the question and the idea is: are we really aware of what our mental health is experiencing in these times? Be it entrepreneurs, be it people that work in other places, political. Are we able to function with our families in a healthy way? Are our relationships causing us stress and turmoil? Oh, it's time for the hour. Hold, please.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
Y'all just hang on. We're going to go straight into it. So just hold on.
He said he ain't know about the show. And that's what I'm saying. Really?
I be having full seances.
I'll bring a full spread next week.
Please.
So you gonna hold out like you did with the banner pudding? Okay,
I really thought y'all knew.
I thought you was a counselor, therapist.
I am, and a candle maker, and a
Candle maker.
hat maker,
Oh, yeah,
and a
those,
baker, and a 3D printer now.
Candle melts you had smelled so good.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you done melted.
Yeah, he brought us some last year.
This was you, yeah. I knew the hat making. My space has been limited recently.
So what kind of hats? Like
wide brim fedoras.
Ooh, here we go.
What? Look at this. We in the house. Yes, Larry.
Hour number 2. Welcome back to the show. Great conversation. Mental Health Awareness Month is right now in the month of May, and we just been talking about everything that you can think of as it relates to your mental, which is everything. We've been doing a lot of talking about the children, so that does show me that our people are concerned about what's happening with our young people, how they are functioning with mental health, and there are some resources, particularly and especially for young people. But on tonight's show, I do want you, our listeners, to take advantage of this opportunity to call in and share. As you may be dealing with some things that somebody else, I'm quite sure somebody else is dealing with or has dealt with and wants to be able to discuss, but they hadn't. I ain't finna call no therapist. I ain't finna go to no counseling. I ain't doing what? So you rather just suffer in silence and make Facebook statuses.
Can I say something about that?
Uh-huh.
I had this conversation with someone about seeking therapy. I had a conversation with someone about seeking therapy, and they were a black man, black male. And most people that do have issues as a whole is black men that I see seeking therapy. His concern was that once he laid down on the couch and he talked to them and let them know what his feelings and concerns were, that he would be a changed person. He would be different, and he wouldn't have that go-getter mentality or have the catalyst to push him to where he was or how he operates. He felt
he
like
thought the
that
couch
would
was
be
gonna suck it out.
No, he felt like that would be taken away from him. So if he is more understanding as a person, then he wouldn't go after deals the way he pursues deals. So he was saying like that would change him as a person by seeking therapy. And I'm like, no, it probably would make you a better person and get better deals because you would be better. You could understand people's perspectives better rather than having your own through trauma responses.
Okay, so just to recap, I probably should go to therapy.
He needs
but
therapy.
I don't want to go because I feel like if I go and talk to these folks,
I'm gonna be a changed person. And now I won't.
I'm not gonna have my drive anymore.
I won't have my drive.
We're not gonna sedate you. We're just gonna talk to you.
Absolutely. And I just want, I was hoping that we could have a different approach for Black men to kind of pull them in to say, hey, this is okay. Your vulnerability won't be disclosed to the world. Nobody will know about the things that you talk about here.
Right.
So,
thank you for that. Cause what? Okay.
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
what I'll say is like to Black men, when you're seeking therapy, you're not looking for a therapist, you're looking for your therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I make sure I do when the mentality that I address counseling is it's not your job to share with me because I'm a therapist. It's my job to make you comfortable enough to share with me because you're comfortable.
Right.
I don't want you to give me your life story just because I done got some accolades. I don't want that. I want you to trust me to do that. And if you don't find me to be trustworthy enough to do it, then I'll help you find your next therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how committed I am to people getting help. My ego ain't big enough to believe that I have to save people. And I've been doing it long enough to know that I can't save everybody.
Right.
Sometimes because my skills don't match what they need. And sometimes it's because they're not at a place where they can accept what help is given, even if it's the best help that could be achieved at that moment. You know, and so I'm invested in Black men finding the person that's going to help them. And again, I'm more, I align with the young generation more than the older generation. So I had some older clients that just, we don't align as far as therapy go and as far as how I deliver information, you know. But I do have some elder clients that we connect really well. So it's about, I don't know when you walk in the office if I'm gonna be a good therapist for you or you're gonna be a good client for me, you know, and don't get caught up in the pressure of what it have to be. Another thing that I do is my therapy is very, very conversational. I'm pretty sure Woo is too. It ain't no formal notepad out, sitting down, writing down little highlights. It's not. It's a conversation that by the time our session over, it feel like 55 minutes been 15 minutes.
And I think that's what a lot of people need. They need to see the transparency behind therapy because they watch these shows, they watch these movies, and they see people laying on couches.
First of all, my couch ain't even big enough for you to lay on.
Right. They see people writing things down.
I do.
And sometimes people feel like you will but like they feel like you will distort their thoughts and what they're saying. So I believe there needs to be more transparency on what happens in therapy. And that will probably draw more people in to seek therapy.
Yeah, for sure. And so I will say to that, Wendy, like a big part of the reason that I got into it professionally. So, you know, you'll be online and it used to be these memes like, what would I be doing? Or like, what could you see me doing as my profession? And everybody's like, a therapist or a counselor. And I was like, yeah, you know, kind of, sort of, yeah. But I didn't have the credentials. I just was kind of in my space, right? Like, this is just, you know, this is what it is. So comedian. Yeah, kind of, sort of. I like all of the things. I like all of these things. All of these things are who I am. But I wanted to, what, girl? I wanted to have access to it. So, yeah, it was a pursuit. We were on an adventure the other day, and we'll tell you about that later. But listen, I knew, I was like, okay, so this is what I have to do. I need these credentials so that I can help people effectively. I don't think I was saying the wrong things or being present for people in the wrong way before that, but I knew that there was more that I wanted to know and needed to understand. So yeah, let me go here. Then personally, there were times when I felt like my brain just worked in such a different way that I didn't have those people that I needed to just be able to reach out and talk to or touch when I needed to. Let me be that for somebody. Let me be that person. Let me be the person that's not going to judge whatever it is. Because I mean, hey, this book that I write could be judged front and back. So I wanted to be in that space for people to let you know, like, we all living the same life. Like, we're living our lives. We're all in this world doing this thing together. And if you feel like you can't do yours comfortably because you're being judged, you ain't met me yet. Because, yeah, I may be like, what? I may say that, but then I may be like, dang, for real, take me some more. What do you say? Like, damn, yeah, like, I may do that. And you're going to be like, whoa, don't do that. I mean, you know, that's therapy.
This the other part, though.
Show me that part.
Once you have committed to that, once you have found your therapy, the work is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy work. I've had clients who have told me, Black men that have pulled up for the second session and sat there and they pulled off. Because the next time we meet up, which would be like, eventually they hit me back.
They saw me naked.
I was vulnerable.
It's like by the time I meet them again, they be like, bro, I pulled up for that next session that we scheduled, but I left. And I was like, bro, I told you it was gonna be hard. The first conversation we have is like, I want you to know this is a journey. This ain't an on-off switch. It's like you don't unravel 30 plus years worth of stuff you've been navigating in one conversation. You know?
And that's important because therapy is that mirror with a light on it. It exposes you. And one of the hardest things to do is sit in front of that mirror and look at the things that you're not good at. Look at the things that you don't think through right. Yay. Look at the things that you muffled, you fumbled, and you threw a whole bunch of interceptions. You know what I'm saying? And you got to sit here and really take it. So that accountability is hard for a lot of people. And to accept, and then to be able to make a plan to fix, and you got to do all this, and it's working on you. You ain't pointing the finger. You ain't working on nobody. You ain't getting to nobody. It's all about you and your strengths and weaknesses and your indiscretions and the things that has caused you pain and trauma. And you got to fix it. And I got to sit here and let somebody tell me to help me. And this is the thing. I truly believe that we're not designed to help ourselves. I really believe that the Creator allowed us to be in a space where you can't help yourself, because truthfully, you're going to mask up that mirror.
Right.
Like, you gonna, what Future say, mask off. You're going to put the mask on. You're not going to tell the truth. You're going to hide behind your lies. You're going to hide behind your view and your perception of the story. I'm sorry if I'm preaching, but I'm really just talking. Because it's lot real. Of us go to the couch with our minds made up, not knowing that, hey, this ain't what you thought and this ain't what you think. Sitting at that table or sitting on that couch is really about exposing you to you.
So thank you. When you go into, like when you think about you being vulnerable, how often are you all vulnerable? Like I'm vulnerable. How often are you like that? Like pure in your pure form?
I think I'm always vulnerable.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay.
When I choose to be.
Hello. They snapped on me then.
What I'm saying is, so I'm saying that to say, like, as men, we do not believe we have access to being vulnerable. A ton of men will tell you we can't be vulnerable. We can't talk to our women. We can't say this. We can't. Yes, you can. You got the words. You got vocabulary. You know all this. Like, why can't you? No, you're convincing yourself that you can't. Okay. And so you can when you choose to. And so when I say I can when I choose to, I read the room. Like when the context matters. Okay. When it's somebody who is important to me that I want them to know something about me. Like I've committed to the people around me being people that can accept my story in all its forms. And if they can't accept it, I don't change me. I change their presence in my life.
Come on here, edit. So that's a big, like, this is me being vulnerable, which is pretty usual. So listen, if you see me hosting somewhere, I know what that feels like for me. I know that's my space. That's where you thrive. Okay, that's my space. But then you may see me Tuesday at 11. And what am I doing Tuesday at 11? How am I presenting Tuesday at 11? So then I think about that. Then I think about, then you may see me Sunday at 11, and I may be like leading the praise and worship or something. But then Thursday you saw me killing it at the Legion on the day. Like, so the different levels and layers of who I am is where I think that the gift was given to be able to meet people where they are, because I am there. Now, the parts that I'm not in, I want you to be okay with bringing me in there. Like, I'm coming with you. Yeah, I was abused. I didn't talk till I was 25. Man, tell me about that, because mine has been talking since I was 8 months. Like, there was never a time where I didn't feel like I had a voice. Like, make me understand. Like, give me that. Tell me, what did you want to say? Why did you feel you couldn't say that? When you said that just then, whose voice did you hear? Those are the type therapy things that you can anticipate by being vulnerable. I just want to come here and lay it all out. Lay it all out there. Let's go. And I got another client after you, so we may have to see you next week. But give it to me. Give it to me. Could you give it to somebody? Could you give your stuff to somebody? Like, you've been carrying this around 25 years. This happened to you in undergrad. Nobody knew but your roommate, because they saw you come in the room like this. And you've been just toting this around. Can you leave that with me?
And for a lot of people, the answer is no.
Oh, man, I just told you how I get down. You can't leave that with me.
But for a lot of people, they're willing to if they find you a person that's like a drawer, a keeper of sacred things, you know. And so I think people misconstrue vulnerability for real. There is, and this is me and my mature mind.
Okay.
There is so much strength in it because you ain't holding nothing.
I'm authentic.
You ain't carrying nothing. You can be your real, authentic self. So, in my it does. But even in my, in what I do in the ministry, like, man, you should have said that. You should keep that. Don't tell too much. And it's like, why? Because if you're gonna judge me, I don't even care. Because at the end of the day,
it's a part of the testimony. It's a part of the story.
But yeah, Paul said it great. When I'm weak, that's when I'm strong. And I think that's a reality that a lot of people don't understand is those weak moments is actually what gives you the strength to fight the next struggle, to fight the next battle, to fight the next circumstance and face it and slay your giant.
And I would even say that you can add the functional component of weakness to that, because when a boxer got to know the limitation of their legs in order to be able to carry themselves for the whole fight. So like there is value in understanding what those limitations are. We can call them weaknesses. I don't necessarily like that word, but we can call
areas
it
of development.
Yeah, we can call it that. But like it's important to know how they exist relative to your strength, because those things work in tandem. And you pretend like they don't, and now your legs don't went out too early, and now you done lost the fight. We got to accept those things.
I think that people don't know that it's strength in being vulnerable because people tend to use your vulnerability against you. But I think it's oxymoronic because you intimidate people when you tell on yourself.
I'm going through it.
It's very intimidating for someone to be able to just pour everything out. You ask them a question, they give you the answer, and you like, wait, why'd you tell me that? You asked. And not only did you ask, I don't care what you ask, because it goes in with the theory of let them, because you're going to think what you think anyway. So I'm going to tell you what you want to know ahead of somebody else telling you, so you can't use that against me.
Yeah.
And I think the first law of nature, self-preservation, is what keeps a lot of people from exposing themselves, because they think if I keep this to myself or I preserve this, you can't use it against me. But what harm is it going to do if they try to use it against you?
This is who I am.
How does that hinder you when it's you?
Yeah.
If it's already you, if it's already there, nothing that they say about you can hinder you.
Because I haven't accepted it. So that may be one of your first points or one of your first themes in your therapy session. Like, hey, I really want to explore myself. I really want to, I need to figure out who I am. I don't really have an identity.
Why do I respond this way?
Why do we can do that.
Or look at things this way?
We can do that.
We can do all that. But once you let it go, nobody can use it against you.
Everybody be saying it, man. They always be saying this.
Bring it. In a conversation that I was having this weekend, I was talking about how the ability for somebody to use something against you is based on your level of preparedness for it to be used against you. And it was a conversation with me, and I was talking about how like John Wick with a knife is deadly. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he is prepared to have those kind of fights. So the more comfortable you get with your vulnerabilities and your experiences, and you're comfortable with them, like the reason people use it against you is because they know that it's discomfort for you. When you become comfortable with it, it is no longer a weapon against you. It is no longer something that can harm you. And so that's the importance of being vulnerable. But that vulnerability that you have to start with is your own vulnerability. Like, can you talk to yourself in the mirror about the things that you haven't said out loud in 15 years?
They say that's schizophrenia. I'm just playing. But keep going.
No, I mean, it can be.
Talking in the mirror.
But the conversation that I have with me is like, things become real when you hear it. When it's just in your brain stirred up as a memory, it's nothing. Once you put it on, it is something. But once you put it on paper, once you put it on a voice recording, once it's loud, you now have to deal with the fact that you have to auditorily commit it to your experience. And if you can't do it with nobody else, then you need to do it with yourself first.
For sure.
Have that conversation with yourself and then transfer it out to somebody that you trust.
And that piece of what you just said, I can and I have to do this with myself, but I may be somewhat afraid of the reality of what I'm doing. So that may be when you reach out for a therapist. So like Hat said, I may have these skills. I have these skills. I know that I need to do this. I should take this. I should go. We know these things. Some of us have these skills, but we also have just the human desire. Like sometimes how you be like, take off your cool. I wish I could take off these skills sometimes because I'd be oh, I want to take these skills off and not show so much grace. I want to take these skills off and not be so forgiving. But maybe that is a theme for therapy. Maybe that is something that you should take with you. So just saying, it may not always be, my mom died in 1987 and it feels like yesterday. That may be what it is for somebody, but for somebody else, it may simply be, I just want to make sure that I'm rational about some things.
I think generally
it could be anything.
People do not care. And I'm saying, like, for myself, things happen to you and people don't care. You don't care that really happened. You've been taught to care. You've been taught to develop that response to that because you see what other people have developed a response to. So it's all about what you've been taught. It's all about your environment. Like, somebody dying in my family may not affect me the same way it affects you. Your mom might die, my mom might die, my response might not be the same as your response. And we might have had the same type of mother, just as nurturing, just as caring, but our responses are different because of what we've seen, how people dealt with that death, or how people deal with trauma from a death. So what were you taught? Because generally people really don't care until they're taught to care.
So empathy, you don't just come in here with empathy.
You don't come with empathy. You have to be taught empathy. It's a skill. You can have feelings about something, but you're not taught to empathize towards people. That's not something that you just have innate. It's not innate.
So now I need to come to therapy because I realize that the way I respond to stuff is not how, like, it's been causing me a lot of issues.
It's not the proper response. So
yeah, my friends told me that.
You have to be taught how to respond to things.
So I'm coming. I need to make an appointment because I need you to teach me.
Because like we said, the first response most people have is what? Anger.
Oh, man.
Because you haven't been taught to properly respond to things.
Okay.
So you have
to. Yeah. Thank you, Wendy.
I totally agree. I think this part about those who are in the field that do this work, not all of them, but many of them, especially the ones I circle myself with. Sometimes that's a gift and it's not really a skill. I think there are ones that are called and chosen to do this work, and they have the innate ability to empathize and sympathize at the same time, creatively help you craft your solutions to your journey. And not everybody can do that. And I know for me, that's one of the things that I've, like, over the years, I came to understand, which is why I went into the field. And like, people come to me and I'd be like, I don't know, who am I? Like, but it's the trust. Like, just people just trust that they can share. And when you can share and they don't hear it back in the street, they feel more comfortable sharing, then word of mouth spreads. And so that empathetic response, it don't just happen. I'm right there with you. It don't just happen. The best teacher, like when you said you have to be taught, the best teacher is just simply life and the experiences of the journey. Like, Jesus said, walk a mile in my shoes. Until you actually get in those spaces, you don't really always understand. You can say it, but do you really understand what that person is? So I came from a single family background. I came from a married background. I experienced both. Not everybody can say that. But I can say I grew up with it and I grew up without it. I know what situational poverty looks like. I know what it has to have everybody come to your house for the cookouts and the cleanups. And so I can empathize with both sides. I know what it looks like with the silver spoon. I know what it looked like to have the plastic spoon. Not everybody has that ability, but again, it was the experience that gave me that.
Yeah.
And again, that was, divinely orchestrated by him.
Let's go from that, where experience is the teacher, to the people that are incapable of learning because of diagnosis and disabilities and barriers like that. So on the other side of that, a lot of people will be very, very frustrated with their relatives and loved ones because they feel like you just ain't getting it. Like, this doesn't make any sense that you don't understand this, or that you continue to do this or act this way or say this or whatever it is that they do. And a lot of people are not, they're not willing to accept that may be something more than them just being defiant or them just being crazy or whatever, right? Like, so some of the things that people do that may be symptoms of real deal diagnosis, like, my mama got all this stuff in her house. We ain't been in her house in 10 years. My dad has this thing that he does, and we just kind of ignore it. We all ignore it.
I think that that comes with removing the veil and seeing things for what they really are and addressing that people have blocks.
Okay.
So if you don't recognize that your family member has a mental block or they have something that hasn't been diagnosed,
I don't know why you got that. We came from the same house, same family.
That's up to you to recognize that person has an area that they can't develop. Mm-hmm. So if you don't recognize that, then it's really on you. It's not them because they don't know what's going on with themselves. That's a disability that they have. So you have to be able to address that,
okay,
and handle them accordingly.
So yeah, no, cause he been drunk since we was 13 and stealing from mama, and he got in trouble over and over again. Got to fighting. Now he got with his lady. They get to fighting, and I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. He can't get right. He can't be helped. This is what we hear. This is what we see. So then we see those loved ones of ours written off, or my uncle been married 12 times, 12 different ladies, 600 children.
I think what happens is in those situations where you have those family members, you have a group of family members that enable them. And then you have the group that actually recognize that that family member has a mental block or an issue or has not been diagnosed properly. So you got two sides fighting against each other. It's always going to be that family member that's going to take him and be like, oh, I'm going to run him across the street and get him a bill. Or I'm going to sit around here while he do this and you're enabling that person's disability. But then you have the people that see that this person has a problem.
Because you ain't disabled, you able. Right.
You're very able, but you're mentally incapable.
Okay.
So you can be physically able to do whatever, but mentally you have a disability. You have a block.
Okay.
So why not be the person that gets help for that person? But that's the person in the family that's fought off. That's they don't accept the family. No, I want this person to get help.
Yeah,
instead of giving them alcohol or beer, or when they get in jail, y'all don't accept all the phone calls.
So really being able to navigate this, and that's a piece of psychoeducation as well. Like I bring your sister them in here. I want to meet them too. Hey, bring everybody so we can make this make sense, because I'm hearing it from you. And I respect your experience. Do they know that you've gone through that? I'm asking questions like that. Has anybody in your family ever thought to ask, well, what changed? No, they just don't, whatever. Eddie, what you got?
I mean, it's hard to have this conversation out of the context of history, because to me, this is another boomer effect, because all of the research that was being done that we use now to understand mental health was being done while they were being experimented on in the Black community.
Okay.
While they weren't being allowed to be in the mental health unit where the white people was at, while they were getting took to Tuskegee and shot up with syphilis. Like, it's a reason that the Black community don't trust those systems. And there were no answers to the question why the uncle put on the tinfoil hat and spin around the middle of the street on Tuesdays. There was no answer to that question. Tuesdays. Something about Tuesdays and aliens on that day specifically. But there was no answer to the questions then like we have to the questions now. Like, they did the best of what we had.
Yeah.
And this is also why boomer kids are in therapy trying to figure out how to overcome boomer parents, and boomer parents ain't in therapy trying to figure out nothing.
Yeah,
they just being challenged by their kids because
to get some help.
Exactly. And them kids about to go no contact if you don't do something different.
Yeah. This is true. This is true. So Mental May is in full effect. Mental May, Mental Health Awareness Month. We're just talking about it from so many different aspects. You think about our experiences as people in church, people at work, people in school, all the different places that you can experience life and your perception of it. Sometimes it's hurt. Because I tell y'all, church hurt really got on my nerves for a few years. I got so sick of hearing y'all talk about being hurt in church, but I validate that. I'm a whole pastor's daughter. I get it. But the people at church, the same people at school. They're the same people that work with you. They're the same people the same people at the beauty shop. They're the same people at the club. Like, these are the same people with the same issues they have in the other places that you frequent with them. Why?
It's the expectation.
They ain't let me wear my jeans on the third Sunday.
It's the expectation. And it's a really, really sad, unrealistic expectation, because these are still people.
The same people.
And to slide into Eddie's driveway with the statement about the boomers. I think the faith community has a lot to do with just the ignorance that I see in mental health, because it's so taboo to say something is wrong when the first thing a lot of the faith community will drive to is, you're not strong enough. Your faith is lacking in this compartment, or some kind of shape, form, or fashion. You're not normal in your journey of faith.
Well, you don't know me.
But the ignorance is also prevalent when a lot of families just don't understand mental illness, right? And so the complexities of the various diagnoses, people just don't really have that readily available. And if you do seek it out, people looking at you with the side eye. I just think that this part and this playing field right now, we need to do all we can to get the educational pieces out there, although it's a lot better than even 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We just got to keep driving the nail into the wood. So hopefully we can start turning the page, because this thing, believe it or not, it starts so early into the teenage years. You're able to see it, but that's like driving without having a GPS. You don't even know the signs.
We used to
just
have
ride.
GPS.
Yeah, we didn't. We had maps.
we figured it out, kind of, sort of. When you go to therapy, because I'm thinking that, like, after this conversation, you'll go. You and your partner will go, be it your husband, your wife, you and your sibling will go, because we don't get along. They stupid. Well, okay, maybe you should go to therapy. My friends, we got a super dope friend group, but it's some issues, and I think we would benefit from a group therapy session. I'm gonna book a session. So, like, anything that you can think of, there is some therapist out there that is capable of being in that space for you. And I keep a good team of therapists. Like, my closest friends are in the profession, and normally when I come up with some idea, I text them and they be like, "Okay, just tell us when." I'm like, okay. And they know that, oh, this is Woo's mental health creating something else that we might or might not do. But it's always with the thought that these people are capable of serving other people in so many different spaces. So I want to put these people together so that we can get these people here and help somebody. It's always that. It's always that. So then you think about, let's go back to when we were growing up and how we were treated. Let's go back. Let me see if I got that in the system. I think I do. Let's go back. While I'm typing this in, think about when you were little. Some of the things that you may have been called, what you didn't like about yourself. They're struggling over there. Think about.
I know.
Think about the one, like the person that made you feel uncomfortable. Think about those things, okay?
We have
Think about
to
that.
do that on the radio. Oh.
Aren't you vulnerable?
Yes.
Okay. So just think about it, and you think about, like, where you are today, like all the things that you just thought about, and where you are today. How did those things and those people and those experiences that you just thought about shape who you are today? Is it in a good way? Is it kind of like, ugh, I hate that happened to me?
So I had two stepdaddies. The first stepdaddy was very abusive.
Okay.
Right.
Oh.
And at the end of his, like right after they left, he ended up going to jail for stealing cars. The other one, that was around when I was in the third grade. And in the eighth grade, my other stepdaddy, he ended up starting to get back on that booger sugar. Both of them were pastors. So when I talk about religious trauma, right, it wasn't just about my mama taking us to church 6 days a week. It was about the assessment of what kind of people the main pastor is letting be up there on the pulpit with him, and what other problems they must have, and why people exalt these men as if they are something more than just a man first and a pastor second, in my mind, right?
And a narc third, because they probably acting totally different when they get to the church house.
Okay, the hell of a drug.
Okay.
So I ain't been shy about bringing up my religious trauma on the radio. You know,
for years.
I was forged in the fires of that, right? And I come to find out when I lived with my daddy in 2022, I said, "Daddy, what you think made Mama dive into the deep end of Christianity without hesitation. He said, "Me."
Yikes.
No hesitation. So
Okay.
whatever he put her through, he's aware of it and she's aware of it. I don't know what it is, but it was enough for her to, dive into the deep end of Christianity and throw us in there without being able to swim.
I bet I done been there. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Eddie tells it in his own illustrious way. Marsha, you want to share yours?
One specific one that comes to mind for me is I remember I was in the 4th grade in class and we were all talking about what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I used to love Food Network, y'all. Like, I still like Food Network, but I was like a little bit chubby when I was younger. So I remember this girl, her name is Janiyah Andrews. I probably shouldn't be named.
I hope you listen.
Whatever. She literally, it was like a group of us. She literally looked at me and was like, the only reason Marshall want to be a chef when she grew up is so she can eat up all the food. And everybody busted out laughing.
Like children do.
Yeah.
4th grade.
4th grade. Yes, I remember.
And like, I can see this moment. I remember it. I won't forget it.
Yes. I was like very present for it because it's like, why are you calling me out in front of everybody? And also like, why are you calling me fat? Like, I didn't think anything was wrong with my body. I didn't think I was chubby. But then, when that statement was made, it's like, I think now that I'm older, it would be something that I would like think back on and be like, is something wrong? But back then, it's like, you couldn't tell me nothing. Like, I didn't care if you thought I was chubby. I knew I was cute, probably cuter than you.
Yes. That's how
that's
it goes.
just what it was.
It's got to be all of that. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Jay had said, no, I ain't going back. You can't take me back.
What's so ironic? I have so many.
Wendy, me too.
So many. Like, listen, I have so many, but I think overall, I decided to leave when I was 14 and go to a high school away from my parents, away from my friends, everybody that I grew up with, and live on campus. I think what happened with that, Alabama School of Mathematics and Science, shout out to them. But it made me way more independent. And the things that I went through, it made me a better parent. Wow. I was able to see that children should have privacy. Children, they do have a voice. They do know how to communicate if you give them the space to communicate. And if you're present at the time they want to communicate, the door is always open. If in the moment there's something that your child says to you that you don't agree with, you don't lash back in that moment when they're talking to you.
Yes.
You both take a time out and then you come back and you address the situation. I just think that's the best thing that came from it. It made me, I think, an amazing mother. And I did it by myself besides the help. I'm not saying like nobody helped because I did have family. But in the house, day to day, it was me and my child. And I think that's just what my childhood breeded and made me a more independent person. And I didn't rely on people and systems. I knew that I had to seek out exactly what I needed to become the person I needed to be for my child.
Okay. Thank you. I'm thinking about so many of them. Jay, had you got some now?
Oh, I had some. I was just gonna let Wendy share for us.
Okay.
I'll say this moment is probably one of the moments that really kind of changed my life. I was in the 6th grade, and Eddie, you'll feel this. And my parents were separated. I think I was just now leaving the doctor. I got real sick, going to see my dad because he was the money bag. Big time of snow.
Okay.
And I pull up, man, and literally my dad is like, I hear all this noise and stuff going on in the house, and it's like, what's going on? Unbeknownst to me, I'm in the 6th grade. My dad had 5 strokes.
In that
time frame that I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
Only to be woke up at like 2:00 in the morning to find out that he had 5 strokes, and the doctors had given him hours to die. And so I'm 11 years old.
Wow.
And I had to learn how to drive. I did learn how to drive at that time because it paralyzed him. So luckily, my dad had always like taught me how to drive stick. Like I'm like 8, 9 years old. And so he made me really, really, really independent. and then he also made me a go-getter. So when I look at a shaping moment, Eddie, I flash back to that moment because I started working when I was 13. Because again, you got to help bring some ends meet to the table, and so I know that moment for me was like that transformative moment. So it, like literally, I think every group that I've been a part of, I've been, if not the pole mark, the vice pole, like some type of leader. I wanted to play receiver. Coach said, "No, you're gonna play quarterback." I've been a leader in like every capacity, and that's because I've been really really different since that 1989 experience. I mean, like really different. So I've been a thinker.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. So y'all went deep on me. I'm gonna keep it light. So I remember, and you think about childhood experiences and how they shape you as an adult, or just the things that you remember that may be like they may play into something else. So there, I'm gonna give you one. The first one, I was in the 3rd grade at Charles A. Brown Elementary School in Miss Harris's class. Miss Harris wore MC Hammer pants. She would wear them type of pants in the middle. Yes, she would do that. So she was cool, but 3rd grade is where I recognized that I struggled with math. Like it made no freaking sense. So she was teaching us with lima beans how to do multiplication tables. I cannot tell you to this day. Maybe I can. I think if I see it, I could. What the concept was or what she was using them for. But my classmates, they lining the beans up. 8, 15, 22.
Whoa.
Man, look. Me, I was like, give me them beans. I was just putting the big up, making arrows with the beans. I don't know what this is. I don't know. So I guess, like after so long, you realize, well, Dana hasn't said anything. Cause like I don't know what you're doing. I don't get it. But I was always happy and I thrived with the words. But these beans right here, I don't get it. So she calls my parents in for a parent teacher conference. My mama's listening because she commented. I don't know if they were oblivious or they didn't want to believe that I just didn't have it. I don't know. But she said, show your parents what you've been doing. Show your parents. Oh my gosh. Show your parents the 3 times 3. I was like, arrow, heart. Y'all. I don't even I don't know. So that's how my mind worked then. Like I have no concept of this, Miss Harris. I'm gonna create some with these beans, but it's not gonna be this problem right here. So that was a pivotal moment for me, even though I wasn't defeated by it, but I knew I didn't know. I simply knew that I did not get it. Fast forward to being in Miss Laura Jean Little's class at Huffman High School in the 11th grade. So I remember these teachers because I love them and I love what they taught until you got to that. And I knew that they saw in me that she don't see what's going on. She finna go over here and write this song. Miss Little played the piano. She played for church. So we connected in that. One day she asked me, did I understand the equation? Miss Little, do I look like I understand the equation? No, I don't.
No, at all.
I do not. I wrote you a song though.
Like the hit?
Here you go. So those 2 moments, it took until I became a professional in the field to know that was mental health related. That is a whole diagnosis that is identified under ADHD as dyscalculia. It's a whole thing. So think about if I would have had the supports that I needed, or if our parents would have been inclined, or if the resources would have been available then, I probably could have had a whole IEP or something. I would have been able to thrive. She's going to need more time. She's going to need a teacher's aid or something.
I feel like I needed that because I was the same way in math. Like I was always good with like English and science, but when it came to math, my brain could like not comprehend.
I'm polishing my nails in here.
Right. Like I just didn't get it.
Marshall, it's a thing. It's a whole diagnosis. Just like dyslexia. People know dyslexia.
Mm-hmm.
It's numbers. It's that with numbers. What are those? What are these? What time is it? How much money do I have? If it ain't that, I don't know.
I ain't even heard. I did my first time hearing it.
Yes.
I ain't even heard of it before.
Yes. DSM-5. Look at the other criteria, and then look into you got those 2, and then there's another one that I'm not even. It's another one. It's a third one. But you got letters, which is which is dyslexia. You got numbers, which is dyscalculia. And some professionals may say dyscalculia, which is ugly. We're gonna say dyscalculia. It really stifled me. In college, I could keep going. Don't give me no job where this register don't tell me how much change you supposed to
No,
get.
for real.
And don't tell me half past nothing, because I don't know where that is. It's half
And
past
don't let them
7.
mess around and give you a quarter on top of the dollar.
Why you give me that? Take it back. Look at my mom on here being oblivious. Dana had many other gifts. Ma'am, I could not count. Okay. She's still enabling me. Ma'am, I can't count today. Look, y'all. You have to be aware of your deficits, and you have to either, like Eddie said, I don't like to call them weaknesses. They will cripple you if you don't have the right support. So think about that story, my experience as a child, and then how another child may have been shaped by that as an adult. Wow. I'll never get a job. I'm never counting. Somebody's life could be totally impacted in a different way by every story we just told. Mm-hmm. And then here we are being the person in the drive-thru trying to get smart with them because they got smart with us. I'm not gonna give you the same energy you gave me because that's not where I am. So I'm not gonna meet you with that. I'm gonna meet you with something better than that because your story may be totally different. My mama never did even have. I don't even know what a lima bean is. You know what? I empathize with you. I'm not mad at you anymore. But if you don't communicate that, I may never know. So you may want to book a session for that. You may want to book a session to talk about that.
The thing that started helping me re-engage with my perception of stepdaddy was working with families and meeting stepdaddies that really stepped up and was there for kids in ways that like they bio dads and sometimes bio mom wasn't there for them. And so like, because when I leaving that upbringing, I just thought stepdaddies was crazy.
Yeah, like you don't want a stepdaddy.
Was crazy.
Do the stepdaddy.
And a pastor just waiting to do some crime.
Crazy.
Right. Your dad's a pastor. Get away from me.
But you until you go out and experience more of the thing that you were impacted by. Like the first time that anybody ever went and sat with a healthy family after seeing your family dynamic, you like, wait a minute.
This is scary.
Family can be like this?
Y'all hug?
I don't like this.
Y'all
think about that's one side where some people will totally.
Do
you hear me? Some people totally embrace that. So this is still mental health. And now let's go to relationships really quickly. This is still mental health. So we're talking about children that may have come from a dysfunctional family and then they're invited to dinner or over to a sleepover. You know, we said sleepovers back in the day. It was safe. Okay. But then you said culture shock. Okay. You go back home and now it's like, y'all are crazy. Okay. Think about that in your relationships now as an adult. The things that you haven't been exposed to and you see people or you meet people who you engage with now and you see the things that they don't know, they don't do, they don't understand, they have no comprehension of it. They get mad at you when you try to do these things or share these things with them because they've never had it. How do you all see that? That's mental health, but how do you see it?
The first response that most people give is, y'all were weird. Your family was weird. No, we loved each other. I'm sorry that your family, I'm not going to tell anybody, I'm sorry your family didn't love you, but that's really what it is.
Or didn't know how to express love.
I'm sorry you didn't communicate. I'm sorry your dad wasn't present. I'm sorry your mother wasn't present. I'm sorry you didn't have a 2-parent household that showered you and nurtured you. And I can't do anything about that, but I can show you the correct way.
I'm just trying to give you
respond,
some of it.
And I think that's the biggest thing. I think the biggest issues that we have now in relationships are men with mother issues and abandonment issues, women with daddy issues, or the need to have to be seen, attention seeking.
I need attention. Okay.
I think those are the biggest issues that we have now. And also women that feel as if they cannot submit to a man and it not be a thing where you're being controlled.
Because that's how stepdad is with booger sugar.
Right. So you're not you have to lean into the concept that you're not being controlled, you're being guided. You want a head, right? You want the head of a household. You want to be provided for. So you have to listen. And that's one of my biggest issues. I don't know how to listen, but
That's
I'm working on
vulnerable.
it.
That's vulnerability
That's
there.
vulnerability.
So
Yeah.
in relationship, right? The things that are your norm, things that you've addressed, things that you see, but then you are in relationship, you get a partner, and now these things are wow, I can't believe that you don't understand this. I can't believe that you can't speak my love language. I can't believe that
Mm.
you are a super narc.
Or
Oh my god.
a nice guy
Or a nice guy.
who are narc related.
You wear this cape because you don't want me to see the narcness under it.
Yeah, it's
oh
a whole bunch of under that cape.
Oh.
So my experience is two ways because of course all of us at the table has been in several, right?
I've only had
So
one relationship.
sometimes you could be that person's better,
Okay.
and then sometimes you could be on the other side of that where it's better for you. And I think you can look at it one or two ways. You can embrace it or you can run from it. And most people, I think, may shy away from it because again, it shows the inadequacies and the deficiencies that you had in your inner experience and your childhood experience. But I'm one of the ones that, I run to it. I embrace it. Right. And so I think I think for the people who use that to beat people down, shame on you.
Mm.
Because I've also seen how people can have that Huxtable Cliff Huxtable experience and they use it to play the game, and to demean or to judge and to belittle.
Man.
And so I've seen that space, and it's a painful space if you're like, oh, this could be great, or oh, this is how it's supposed to be, and then these people use that and turn it against you
Man, because I was very much
to
Vanessa
manipulate you.
Huxtable.
Yeah, so
You hear me?
Been on both sides of that
Vanessa.
coin, and
Very much Vanessa.
it's definitely a culture shock.
Kind of Theo too. I was a mix between the two. Yes, definitely that. So here I am wanting to, and this is mental health related, y'all. It's emotions. It's motion. It is dating, mating, and relating, which is very much a third Sunday topic every month. But then mental health and dating, mating, and relating, you'll get with people not knowing their stuff. I didn't know you. I did not know because that's not what you gave me in the beginning. I didn't see that. I did not see that you were this. Now we got a baby together. What the hell?
So when you do see it,
Mm-hmm.
and this is very mental health related, when you see it in the person that you're dating, to save your mental health, exit stage left because you can't repair people.
Mm.
There's nothing you can encourage, you can give advice, you can try to show them, but you can't repair them. They have to repair themselves, and it's easier for somebody to pull you down than it is for you to pull
Ooh.
them up.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's just best that you tell them that they need to seek professional help, and if they're not willing to seek help professionally because it's not everyone's profession, then you just need to leave and save yourself.
Yep. Ada, what you got over there?
I was thinking about adding some context to what Wendy's piece was, as far as my women with daddy issues and men with mama issues.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about those things relative to them being gone. Kendrick Lamar's Father Time addresses the traumas that boys have with daddies when they're there but wrong.
Yeah.
It creates a kid who has such deep self-doubt that they have to overcome at some point, right? And then the issues where girls with mama issues because mama was jealous somehow and did that, and or mama's raising they girls to just tend to men, but like not giving them an understanding of how to decide which one of those men qualify for being followable, right? So it's a whole bunch of issues to go around in these dynamics. But at the end of the day, all of it is connecting the dots to your childhood experiences that left you with the stuff that you had. And one, how do I discover that I have these things? And now, do I have the wherewithal to do something about it? Because it's a lot of people out here who is failing in relationship after relationship and wondering why they can't get it together, but they hadn't come to therapy.
I got to unlearn all the things that I've learned, all of the resentments that I had. They need to be addressed. Like, address the fact that, I don't see women as equal because of whatever reason, or I don't respect women because my mom always picked the man over me, whatever that is. There is some therapist that is very much capable of hearing you in that and helping you with that. Go and unlearn that. You talked about Kendrick's song. Tyler the Creator has a song out now too.
Like him.
Like him. I'm chasing a ghost. I am chasing a ghost. And then at the end of it, the mom comes in and, it's a recording, but she's like, I'm sorry that he's a good guy. I made some bad decisions. Your bad decisions kept your child, put your son in a space of having to search for a father that was wanting to be present, that you kept him from because of stuff that y'all had. Man, if you don't come get this child, oh man. So like these two different spectrums, but then you got situations that are fairly normal where there's conflict with mothers and daughters, fathers and sons. That's biblical too. Like just the different dynamics of those relationships in themselves and how they impact your relationships with somebody when you're trying to be romantic. Even affection, how you show affection. Man, don't touch me. I don't like all that kissing. Don't stop trying to hold my hand. What?
I think that's part of being on the spectrum as well.
Or sexual trauma.
Yeah.
Or it could be some spectrum stuff. It could be some trauma stuff. It could be some, I don't like you touching me. Your nails are dirty. Your hands stink.
And that's the importance of the investigation. Like the behavior exists, and it's 5 different reasons that the behavior can exist.
It could be so many different things. How are you
connecting the dots to why you're here and trying to recover from that if it's recoverable?
Yeah, understanding my excitement, right? If I come in the house and I'm excited, or if I call you and I'm excited and you answer the phone, what's up? You know what? Don't even worry about it. You just messed up my mental health. You just triggered me. What about when what about when I know men don't like to hear. They say men don't like to hear. I don't like to hear this either. We need to talk. We talking? What's up? That may be a trauma response. The last time I heard we need to talk, or the locks was changed.
No talking.
Yeah, or something. Don't come at me like, hey.
Well, we need to talk as a result of not talking. Like we need to talk is because when people say that, the issues done leveled up to a point where it's about to be a steep decline in what's happening. Where if we would have just had a lot of small conversations
every night, check in.
We need to talk wouldn't have ever been something that you said. So a lot of the times, the person who's saying we need to talk, they lack in communication.
Oh, okay, so it's not that I've been trying to talk and you haven't been listening, because I've been saying, hey, let's talk. Hey, let's just talk. Hey, let's rap. Hey. Well, however you say it. I've said it 2,000 times, so now I'm not talking anymore. And now it's like, we need to talk. But I don't want to talk no more.
Could that be a part? Could that be a part of the person not being able to clearly articulate what it is that they feel?
Draw some pictures.
Yeah, so that might not work out either.
Get some lima beans. Oh no!
So, like Eddie said, I'm kind of hearing it and feeling it. Then at the same time, I look at the other side of the table and I say, well, maybe they don't know how to.
Maybe they don't. So it's that incapability again, those barriers. When we recognize the barriers, what do we do? Eddie, I'm going to give you the last little bit on that. We'll look at these comments and then we will wrap. Y'all waited to the last few minutes to start asking questions. Go, Eddie.
And what they finna say after they say we need to talk?
So I remember
what I'm saying? Like, said, if they didn't know the words beforehand, what they finna say now? Like, there's work to be done that like the other person don't have to have the capacity to sit there and wait for, because they've been trying to get it from them for the whole time, and now they're saying we need to talk, but still can't really convey.
I don't want to talk anymore.
The self-assessment should be, I don't know, I really don't know how to communicate in relationships. I need to learn this in this relationship now to save it, or I need to learn it outside of this relationship and have it for the next person.
And that's that's what we see a lot of. Like, you've learned, you picked up things, psychoeducation within your relationships. Let's answer these questions right quick. People will hide negative character and issues in relationships. What suggestions do you all have for that? People will hide negative character and issues in relationships. What suggestions when you uncover them? Run.
People can only wear masks for so long.
Yeah.
And not only that, it's never really hidden. it's a part of their character, so they can't hide it. You just don't want to see it.
And if you do see it, you want to give grace.
Yeah, people turn red flags green all the time.
All right. Carrie said, I was called an octopus. I want to know what that means, Carrie. Call in, give us some insight to that off the air. 994-8949. We'll get off air and answer that. And then the last one, explain what the term spectrum means. So the autism spectrum, which is such a wide array of different symptoms and just so many different things. There may be a crossover, Mom, with those lima beans. I may be on the spectrum. I'm your best example. All right, you guys. It has been a great show. Hopefully you've heard something tonight that will inspire you and encourage you to go ahead and take care of your mental, you, your family, your lovers, your people, everybody around you, your village. Tell them therapy ain't for crazy. It's for upkeep. It's a good time. I have some group sessions that are just amazing. And sometimes it's a little difficult, but I'm very much unorthodox and I'm going to do what I see needs to be done. Eddie, the same. We are who we are on this radio and in your session. Call us. Feel free to reach out. You can find us anywhere. Want your eyebrows done? Call Wendy. 205-452-0111. Vital Life Family Counseling. Wendy said, give your info, Eddie.
Restoring Hope's Counseling, 706-590-2630.
What's your number over there?
205-243-9778. That is Lemuse Lux Beauty and Wellness.
Because when you look good, you feel good. Y'all be vital.
I need access to them. Want access to them.
We're out of here.